My name is Emma Maggs and this is Wildfemmes. In an age where the definition of health is starting to be rewritten and things like burnout being as common as the flu, the importance of a lifestyle that supports your wellbeing has never been more necessary. Cue Sophie Marshall, the founder of Gentle Habits, whose own journey of self-discovery and mindfulness is helping others create positive daily practices. Thank you so much for joining Wildfemmes.
Well, firstly, I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me because, I mean, between a rebrand, a demolition of your house, basically, and, you know, like launching all these fabulous new products, I understand how busy you are and you've always got lots of things on the go. So I really appreciate it.
Always have time for you.
It would be remiss of me not to start with how I actually came into your orbit because I think I was maybe like 3 months postpartum and I was trying to find a pair of swimmers that fit. And I was like losing my mind. And I stumbled across a piece of content that Rip Curl created where they were interviewing the staff.
That's right.
And you were talking about your relationship with your body and how it has completely changed since you've had your children. You talked about a lot of other things, but at that moment I was like, this woman gets me. Like, I've never met her, but it's just like she's speaking the words right out of my mind. And it's funny, I just feel like if you lived up the road, we'd probably be having our martini at least once or twice a week. So first off, congratulations on Gentle Habits.
Thank you.
Your amazing launch of this brand has been incredible. I just wanted to ask you, like, how did Gentle Habits actually come about?
It's one of those things where rewind probably 2020, I was living a completely different life. I had obviously the 2 boys, prior to COVID, I was away on a plane every 6 weeks. I was the head of product for Rip Curl, always traveling. Kids have always in after school care. I never picked my kids up from school. I was working the global role, so I was up at 6 o'clock dealing with the US and then, doing a full day at the office. But then also too coming home at night and trying to juggle the kids, but also getting on with Europe because obviously Europe's, the time difference. So it was such a huge job. I absolutely loved it. Don't get me wrong. Like, I was so caught up in it. But with these jobs, at some stage, your body and your mind starts saying, hello, I can't keep living like this. And especially I probably was in a bit of a flight or fight mode a lot of the time. And I was actually searching for something. So I think I was on a trip to New York and I remember just walking into a shop and I saw incense and I was like, oh my God, I haven't used incense since, 1996 back in Margaret River listening to the Tea Party with my mates, the Nag Champa. And,
who doesn't love Nag Champa?
You know what? I've actually got some just as a bit of a reminder. And I started burning it because I really struggled from coming home from work, picking up the kids and getting into mum mode. So I started using incense and that really allowed me to disconnect from my day.
It is really hard to switch off.
It is.
We've got like all of our devices and we're always connected.
Always. And I had to kind of be connected a lot of the time. And being a working mum, like I went back to work with Duke after 5 weeks and Ace after 4 months.
I don't know how you did that.
I don't know how I did it either, but I kind of didn't have a choice back then. And look, it was something that I had to do financially, but also too, I look back on it and go, that kind of got me through being a mum. Like, because the other thing is as well is that your career and that's what that's what's ingrained in what you've been learning before becoming a mum, and then all of a sudden you've got a baby and when the phone rings and it's work, your first instinct is to pick up the phone from work because that's all you've known. So you're trying to untrain yourself to go, hey, I've got to say no to that, and and that doesn't come easily. That actually comes after a lot of time. So with that incense, and I also used to have a shower when I got home from school, like got the kids home from school and came in from the office just to wash the day away, and I'd change uniforms, so I'd get out of my work clothes so it would allow me to become into mum mode, and I found that really helped. And so I think it was around, I was using incense a lot, and one day I was just having a shower and, my ideas, funnily enough, now come to me while I'm in the shower around water, and it just popped into my head, you had to make incense, which was strange in itself. And I remember getting out of the shower, walking up to my husband, Tripper, and going, hey, I'm going to make incense. And I just still remember him going, what? Are you crazy?
Because obviously you had been working in the surf industry for what, like over 25 years or something?
Yeah, 27 years. It's so far removed from bikinis and fleece and T-shirts and trends and innovation and anything to do with apparel. My whole life has been apparel. So, and accessories. So it was just so far beyond. And look, at that stage, I was looking for a hobby so I could, on the weekends, not work for Rip Curl, because I was finding myself doing a lot of work on the weekends. So I was like, let's look into this. This could be my new hobby to get me away from working.
Your new hobby that has just become now your new 24
life.
hour a day.
Yes. And so I do remember how excited I was, because it was something new. I was learning something new. And, you know, back then we made a couple of rules that I had to be, and I still stand by these today. It had to be easy. It had to be self-funded, and there was a no dickheads policy as well, which still stands today. And there's been a couple of times I've used it. And so that started the process of me working out what I wanted in an incense and how, and I just immersed myself on the weekends building Shopify store, looking at packaging, understanding what the brand I actually wanted to create and why. So This Is Incense was born, and the name This Is Incense, Tripper made me do for SEO, for search term.
Oh, because he's a marketer, isn't he?
Yes.
Right, so you two are like the powerhouse duo that...
We did meet at work. I took his advice and was like, okay, this is incense. But he also wanted me to call it that, so I would do one product, because he knows how my brain works. And I'll be like, let's do this, let's do that. And he's like, no.
Little did he know.
This Is Incense was born, and I started off with, I think it was about $2,000. We bought our first stock. I remember being in Yamba on holidays, and the stock came, and I smelt it, and I still have the video of me unboxing that first lot going, oh my God, this smells so good. It's like exceeded my expectations. I hope other people love it as well. So one of my first stockers, Summies up here, stocked it, and, you know, we sold out, and then we went again. So all of a sudden I was working, but then also too coming home and then packing orders and working on the business. So a year into it, I remember my girlfriend at work got made redundant, and I just took the leap and said, hey, do you want to work and just run This Is Incense while I'm working full time? Because I feel like it's got to the stage now where it really does need someone to put the love into it. And she did. P, who works for me, and she, funnily enough, can't smell. I know.
How does that work?
She just trusts me.
You just have to borrow noses? Can you smell this and make sure it smells okay?
And I still forget. Like, there's still moments of like, I'll have a new scent. I go, hey, P, and I go, oh my God, how do I even forget about this? So, yeah, which is, you know, it is pretty funny. But yeah, she knows how good it is. She knows, she hears, and I'm hoping one day that she will just randomly wake up and be able to smell it, because I feel like she's going to
smell all your beautiful products. I know. Now, you are obviously a very creative person. What is your creative process?
My whole life has been pretty creative in terms of random ideas from anywhere. It could be a restaurant, it could be food, but just lately, photography and music. I designed or put together our new collection that we're rolling out for this summer to a song. I went to a kinesiology session. I came home, I found some music, I put it on, and then all of a sudden I've got a new collection.
Wow. Well, you're really inspired by
everything external for me, everything. And obviously, This Is Incense has now turned into Gentle Habits for a couple of reasons. Trademarking, we couldn't trademark the name. And two, all of a sudden, I used the incense, and I started looking for myself for new habits that I could integrate into my life to give myself some more mindful moments, and just to really undo all the bad habits of my previous life of pretty much working. That's all I did. It's pretty much work. Had no hobbies, wasn't investing in myself. and I lost myself. I lost what I loved. I didn't know what I wanted to do anymore. So all of a sudden, moved up here, and I just allowed myself to find out what I really needed to do. And one of the things was having a lunch break. Never had lunch breaks. Literally.
Which seems like the simplest thing, right? But
how many people listening to this eat their lunch at their computers? A lot.
Well, especially like what we were talking about.
Working mums.
Before we started, working mums, when your kid's at daycare, it's like every minute is
gold.
But you just said so many things that I want to go back on. Firstly, when you said that you lost yourself, that is kind of the premise of this series, is because you end up being stretched from being a mum, a wife, a professional, a friend, a soul sister, whatever that looks like. And you start forgetting when are those like small moments in time where you're actually just you. And you mentioned to me that you were starting to not like really look after yourself properly. You went through quite a process of kind of like healing and nourishment. I was just wondering if you wouldn't mind talking us through that, because I think we can all relate to it. Like I feel like I might be in a little bit of that right now.
Honestly, if I could, I'll rewind back. I mean, I'm 44. My mum went through menopause at 35. So I was aware, thinking that I,
could go through that too.
Totally. So, so I was at a point where I was bloated. I'd put weight on. I felt depressed. I had no energy. I was like, what is happening to me?
Is this postpartum or was this?
No. This is like literally 2020.
Yeah, right.
So this was 2020 before we moved, like kind of in between the lockdowns. I mean, that wreaked havoc on a lot of people, but I still remember just like, it was like my body was giving me all the warning signs going, no more. Like, you need to stop and actually reset yourself and go, what is wrong? So my first thing was like, I went to a doctor and I was like, hey, am I premenopausal? Because I'm Googling, I'm looking at all the signs. Yeah. And the doctor did all the blood tests and stuff. And she basically said that I had no testosterone and I was anemic and all the things. So I obviously started to try and take testosterone cream. It didn't really work. Then I went to the naturopath, and this is where I feel like it's so important to have an open mind and an integrated view into health. And the naturopath I told her all of my symptoms, everything, and she just took one look at me and she goes, you have adrenal fatigue so bad. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you've got adrenal fatigue. So I went, right, okay. So I changed everything. I reset my whole life. I went and did a fitness challenge, which meant no alcohol for 8 weeks, no coffee, which killed me more than alcohol. And I'm back drinking coffee, but I just had to reset. So I did that, trained every day.
Well, when you have adrenal fatigue, your body doesn't process a lot of things like it normally would because it's not running at its like healthy capacity.
Exactly.
So that's why removing stimulants like that probably would have made you feel a lot better.
The 8 weeks after that, I was a different person. So I knew that was only one part of it. And I knew that mentally I really had to work on myself and dig deep and go, what the hell? And I'll tell you one of the funniest stories. So obviously I live with, Tripper who surfs, Duke who surfs. The boys are surfing all the time. And on the weekends, they'd just go for their surfs. And one day I freaking lost it. I was like, what do I want to do? Nothing makes me happy. Why can't I just go and do something on my own that I want to do? And like, I still remember melting, like literally melting.
I've had this exact same melt, by the way.
Oh, honestly, I think
Surf widows.
Surf widows. And I think I was more jealous of the fact that I wanted to be passionate about something as much as they were.
100%.
They have a hobby
that is like, it's kind of a selfish hobby, but at the same time, it's something they can focus on and it's tidal, and when it happens, and they have to go, and it sounds exciting.
You have to, like I say to the boys, make sure you go for a surf, because if there's no surf, it's like horrible in our house. It has to happen. So for me, I remember this moment, and then that kind of made me start understanding, going, I need to actually work on myself and work out what I like to do. So that kind of started, I started building a vintage car for my 40th. That kind of started the whole discovery of like what I needed to go and do. But little did I know, during all of this, work became so, I think it just got to the point where I was enjoying it, but I knew it was really, really getting to me to a stage of burning out as well.
Were you at that point still at Rip Curl? And
Yes.
Right. So you would.
I was double full-time
job.
At one stage, during lockdown, we wanted to move up to Yamba, and then work kind of went, hey, no, this is your career path. So they kind of really laid it out to me to make sure that I was going to stay.
What was the indicator for you to take the side hustle to the full hustle?
It was, I wanted to allow P to make sure she had maternity leave and time off. And I knew that I was the only person that could step into that, because obviously my background's sales too. So I remember having the conversation and I was like, I think we just need to turn our life on its head. I need to resign and let's move to Yamba. And
how scared were you letting Rip Curl know that you were going to leave for an incense company?
I'm a big believer that if you visualize something, it will happen. Like if you really want something, the universe will deliver what you are meant to do. And I remember going, oh my gosh, this is wild that I'd even do this. Like people are going to think I'm crazy. Like my dad didn't talk to me for a while. Because obviously, well, it was more like he didn't have an understanding. And, you know, I'd worked, you know, my whole life for this career, and, you know, everyone knew how much I love my job and I love my team. So it was a little bit out of the blue. It was definitely out of the blue, and it was such a huge risk for us as well. So,
well, that was going to be my next question. For people at home who might have side hustles that are considering taking the plunge, what were some of those huge risks that you had to take?
All I can say, if you are doing a side hustle, to make sure that you are working full time or have an income, because it just takes the pressure off. And I was using my wage to also fund the business in terms of like anything. So, you know, we had a mortgage and kids at school and everything like that. And so I really wanted to make sure that everything was set up correctly from the start. We had an account, we had bookkeeping, like all of the fundamentals of trademarking. It is an investment, and I just was so cautious leading into it, because I have worked for myself before, and I kind of vowed I would never do it again, and it wasn't for me. And so to be sitting here now talking to you and we're talking about this is actually still kind of blows my mind, that I am doing it.
Right time, right type of business.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, if you are doing a business, you absolutely have to be 110% passionate about it, because you're waking up every day and you've got to love it. You've got to be passionate about it. If you're in it to make money as your driver, I would definitely have I'd question it, because it has to be more than that. It really does. It has to be more than just a money thing. Yes, it's important, and yes, you've got to know, you know, your profit and loss and all the responsibility and everything like that, but you really have to be passionate about it, because it's your everyday. It's your 24/7. It's what gets you out of bed. And I generally want to help people find their rituals and find those mindful moments during the day using our products. And I love nothing more than getting random DMs from women who have tried our dive mask and go, this has just game changed me. I go to the beach now, I go underwater, I absolutely just look forward to it. It's helped my mental health. That's the stuff that I get out of bed for.
With your ambition to create gentle habits and a lifestyle for your consumers, do you think it's helped you to honor yourself in moments where you've either been thrown some spanners, or you're suffering from a bit of anxiety, or whatever that might look like? Do you reckon it's helped you be kinder with yourself?
Absolutely. I'm literally, if you speak to my son, my 14-year-old son, who has seen me, or, you know, the old Sophie specifically as well, like he's grown up with me pretty much, you know, obviously after school care and all of that, and the stressed Sophie, and he can't
Do you
believe
like this Sophie better?
Yeah, he can't believe the difference. Like when I still remember the day where he told me that, and I was like, wow, like you've noticed that? He's like, yeah, you're just different, Mum.
There's definitely like a reframe in society too that has to happen, because I've been thinking a lot about International Women's Day coming up, as you and I have been speaking about, and I often get put on a panel, and one of the questions is, not for me at the time because I didn't have a daughter and we've been through COVID, but before that I was often on a panel where they would ask the working mums, like, how do you do the juggle? But they would never ask men that question on a panel about business.
It's so true. I also have an amazing husband and work partner and life partner that shares, like we share everything. There's never been, oh, you're the mum, you've got to do it. Like, no, he's so hands-on, and
Which is great.
Yeah, which is amazing because it is what it is.
Now, I feel like you're not someone I need to explain what buwoo is. Now, is there any other kind of like woo-woo you like to incorporate that helps with business or your personal life?
Buwoo. It's so funny because for me, I think gentle habits is that in between, like just trying to take that buwoo out of meditation and just the introductory of routine and those habits that you can integrate without, having to like feel uncomfortable about it. Definitely visualization. For me, if I visualize how I'm feeling, smell where I'm at, I feel like that is really important. I feel like visualization's a big one. I think I've done it my whole life and didn't really realize.
Yeah, until The Secret came out.
Totally. Just like going, this would be really good if this happened, and you kind of like start to think about it a little bit more, and then all of a sudden it happens one day and you're like, how'd that happen?
You mentioned before kinesiology as well.
Yes.
So you're into kinesiology. Is there any other kind of practices
Yes.
like that you like going?
Definitely.
Because I used to be a big fan of energy healing.
Sound healing, went to that, game changer. Oh my goodness, that was amazing. That's just, I'm so open now to just trying new things. Kinesiology, I have a kinesiologist who's my neighbour, Laura, who is just, like, she's just inbound therapy. She's amazing, and she's been so helpful for Duke as well. If you have teenagers, please, kinesiology. It has been a game changer for our family. It is just amazing.
Yeah, my kinesiologist says it's like putting you back together. Because like I feel like sometimes I feel like for no reason, like I could have been busy with work or Goldie, whatever, but like I feel like strung out. And like I haven't got a hold on my emotions as much. Like, when you just like, I just feel weird.
Honestly.
And having like a really good Reiki massage or kinesiology just really like puts you back together, and you're like, yes, I can handle this now. Like,
if any women is feeling like Emma right now, seriously, go and make some time. Go and give yourself a massage, go to yoga, go and burn some incense, go for a swim. Just start exploring those little things, and then you'll start listening to your body and go, you know what? That was game changer.
Yeah.
But you don't know until you try. Meditation for me, I knew that I needed it in my life. I wasn't ready for it prior to this. I have a very busy mind. I struggle to make time for myself. I struggle with the discipline, but I do know that is when I am in my flow and the best person I can be, I'm doing that. I am in that. So that is definitely something that I have to have in my toolbox to make sure that I can work through all of the anxieties and all the worries and my self-doubt. The other thing is too, I have a great business life coach that has been with me since the start of the of Gentle Habits and me resigning from my job and just that change of pivoting from a career working from someone else and managing, a huge team to then literally being on my own. That's been a really good tool for me as well, to have someone that is brutally honest and someone I can talk to and be completely open and honest and give me some really great feedback on how to take the next step. So those two things for me have been huge. I'm definitely getting better at letting things go and trusting the process. I think
So hard, isn't it?
it's so hard, and I keep. Do you know what my
white
thing is?
knuckle sometimes, like white knuckling the universe a little bit. Like, this has got to happen.
And I'm starting to, obviously, through my practice of meditation, is having that understanding of whatever you get given right now is what you need. So those shitty days, those hard lessons, I remember being in my bungalow, raining, crying my eyes out with absolute stress and uncertainty about so many things. And I just think it's really important for me to also to talk about this on social media and be completely vulnerable about it, because small business can be really lonely. And I just sometimes feel like if I am feeling like that, I'm sure other people are.
Now, I know you're really busy, so I've just got a couple of super quick questions that I would love for you to answer. Now, the first one is, what is a book you keep coming back to?
I've actually got it next to me.
Oh, what is it?
Purpose, Passion and Performance by Stephanie Brown.
Ooh,
It's all about culture and strategy within a business.
awesome.
Yeah. So I've always envisioned my team, and a business is nothing without a team. And I wanted my team and like my office to have flexibility, creativity, just a really great culture, empowerment, all the things that I probably, I just think it's really important to have the foundations and some guidance into, how to create an amazing culture.
Well, also, like, not everything is in our wheelhouse.
Nope.
We need help. Like, we can't be the best at everything, and it's important to engage the people that can help you. Okay, so on that note, what is the biggest mistake you made taking your business from a side hustle to your full-time career?
I think probably one of my biggest mistakes is assuming people know things. So I've had some rather expensive, large issues go down. And one of them was a new supplier with my sticks, and I approved sample, I, ticked all the boxes, all the things, saw photos, and because I missed a key step in communication, I got delivered a really inferior product. So I had to pretty much,
So it was like an expensive learning.
It was a really expensive learning, and looking at those learnings and going, what can I do better next time?
Oh, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are 3 ways to switch off from the day that you've learned on your gentle habits journey?
Incense, a shower, meditation.
Also, just going back to what you said at the start, where you said you felt like you lost yourself, do you feel like you found yourself now, or is it kind of like a work in progress?
It's definitely a work in progress. And one of the things that I wanted to do this year was do something and put myself out there, and something that would make me push me and make me feel uncomfortable, and not uncomfortable, but just challenging myself. So we are launching a retreat, a gentle habits retreat, and with my beautiful meditation teacher, Dahlia. And the whole weekend is called the Conscious Ritual Retreat, and it's essentially teaching women and bringing them out of, their day-to-day to have that time and space to learn how to meditate, and get in that space to be clear on an idea or a dream that you've been thinking about, but being able to really understand it and learn tools and chase it without all the noise of your everyday. So exploring rituals and really honing into yourself. So I'm so excited, because
That sounds amazing.
what I really, really want to do is help women and help other people too. So that's my challenge for this year, is the universe has literally pushed me into this. So,
well, it sounds glorious. I definitely want to come, just letting you know. I'll be first on the list. And lastly, what And how do you stay wild at home, in life and love, and in business?
I think not taking myself too seriously, prioritizing to go and have some fun. I know you and I talked about this the other day, and I got invited to go to the Peaches concert at Byron tomorrow, and I would have said no straight away, but I went back and said yes, I think I need to do that, because I haven't had fun where I got to dance and let my hair down. So making that priority, and just really understanding what I love to do and being okay with that. And of course, the dirty martinis.
Lots of dirty martinis. Thank you so much for your time, Sophie. I so appreciate it. It has been so wonderful to chat with you today.
Oh, it's been amazing. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks for listening to Wildfemmes. Be sure to like, comment, and share the love. Stay wild.